Hello, first period. This is Mrs. West. We're going to go ahead and do a video lesson. Please do the best that you can. The substitute is going to go ahead and pause it whenever they see this paper right here. So please pause while students are working to give you time to catch up, because I am not able to pause the video, unfortunately. Okay, so we're going to start with 8.3, medians and altitudes of triangles. You need all of these supplies. You should have a highlighter, pencil, scissors, ruler, and cardstock. All right, and if the substitute needs to pause this at any point in time, go ahead and do that while everybody gets prepared. Okay, so this is going to be the first video. I think we're going to have to do a couple. So on the first video here, we have, we're going to be talking about a median and using this piece of cardstock here to do a little activity. So, a median is a segment whose endpoints are a vertex of the triangle and the midpoint of the opposite side. So if you look here, this guy would be a midpoint of this side. That's why these two segments are the same length. And B is across from it. That's the vertex across from it. So a median goes from a vertex to a midpoint of the opposite side. So we're going to go ahead and follow these directions here. We're going to draw a triangle. Already got it. Let's label the vertices. Now you want to label these vertices inside because you are going to eventually cut it out. That's B and that's C. First step says find the midpoint of the side opposite of A. So with your rulers, you're going to go ahead and measure this side. And that side's 9.5. We're going to write this out here. That's okay if we cut it off later. So 9.5 centimeters. So half of that would be 4.75. So you're going to measure halfway, which is 4.5, 4.6, 4.75. So that would be that midpoint, call that X, and it cuts that side in half. So a median goes from A to X. Okay, you're going to do two more. Do the median for this side, AB, and call it Z. And then we're going to do the median and midpoint for this side, AC, and we're going to call it Y, just like it says in your notes. So you guys can go ahead and do that. And we should get, for AB, the length of AB is 6.2 centimeters, which means our midpoint is at 3.1. So we measure where 3.1 is. Get that on there. We're going to call this guy Z. So each of these are 3.1. Each of these down here were 4.75. And again, I don't care if we cut those numbers off. Right, 3.1. So these two segments are congruent. And that median goes from Z to C. Right, your last median is on side AC, your midpoint. So from 0 to 9, this guy is 9 centimeters. 9 centimeters. So half of that would be 4.5. So measure out 4.5 with your ruler. We're going to call this guy Y, and each of these are 4.5. That cuts AC in half. So put 3 tick marks for that. And the median would go from B to Y. All right, so you have your 3 medians. And you'll notice that they all intersect at one point. This is a point of concurrency. Right? This point is called the centroid, but for right now we're going to call it P. P is actually the balance point of your triangle. So next we're going to cut this out. And I will go to the second video to finish this portion. So while you guys are cutting your triangle out, make sure when you're cutting it that we're just cutting along the edges here. You don't want to cut the black part off, but we don't want a bunch, oops, I cut a little too deep, but we don't want any extra white left on either. So go ahead and cut your triangle out, and I will be back.